Okay, I am Mike Frye, and I am the Greater Dayton Real Estate Investors Association Education Chair. So whenever you first signed on for the organization, you were told that it had two benefits. One is education and one is networking. Well, the networking is being able to talk to people next to you who've been there and done that, so you don't have to make the same mistake. It's like to say, I've got the whip marks, and I can tell you how, not to be able to get those. So I'm the other part of it. I'm the education chair. My job is to make sure that we get education to you that you need to have before, during, and after a real estate deal. Before, during, and after you decide to be a landlord. Before, during, and after you decide to become a wholesaler. There are multiple ways to make money in real estate. There are multiple ways to be unhappy about making money in real estate. So 4 times a year, we teach a course we used to call Real Estate New Investor 101, Real Estate 101. We've kind of renamed that just Real Estate Investors because there is so much going on in the market right now that I don't care if you've been a landlord for 15 years, you still have to know how the laws have changed, how various practices have changed, and you need to be aware of that. You may not be aware of that. If you're sitting collecting checks every month thinking, oh, I've been a landlord for 20 years, I don't need to know any of that stuff. Yeah, you do, because the very next time you take a new tenant application, you may screw something up. There is a person who is a GDREA member who has been a landlord with over 50 properties for most of his life, and he got in trouble with the folks when he put out a wrong type of advertisement and answered the questions the wrong way. This is an experienced gentleman, and he ended up paying $5,000 to get out of that problem. So, as I said, there's a lot going on, and even though you have not been, even though you may have been an investor for a long time, you need to stop these things. So February 8th, here, actually it's going to be in the building next door, we're going to have it's a Saturday, it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and I'll go through, for new investors, talk about the things to do, and I'll hit a lot of different topics about what has changed, what's new. We're going to do that about 4 times a year. Now, the other 2 courses that we have scheduled already for this year is what we call our property evaluation and bus tour. The next one is May 9th and 10th. It's a Friday night and a Saturday. The Friday night is, again, next door here at this location. And a Saturday we take and get on a bus, and we go to between 6 and 8 properties. And if you are interested in being a wholesaler, a retailer, a rehabber, a landlord, you need to be able to know what it costs to put on a roof, put windows in. You need to be able to smell moisture. You need to be able to smell dog stink, cat stink, and all the other stuff, because that's what you're going to end up smelling. And what does that smell like? Thank you. Gosh, we do have some investors here. Okay. So, but even then, prices have changed. I will tell you right now, I've been doing this for, 16 some years now. Finding a contractor is very difficult. Finding a contractor who doesn't screw you is even more difficult. And believe me, we're experienced folks. And finding a contractor who, let's see, is supposed to do our roof, who suddenly calls up and says, I'm deathly sick, and you need to get that done yesterday. Well, it'd be nice to have somebody else in the pipeline. So again, I'll talk about those things, and we'll go through that in the bus tour again. So February the 8th, next door, at the building next door here, we have our investors training, or Investors 101. And again, it's for everybody. And then May 9th and 10th is our first property evaluation and bus tour. Again, it's about 5 hours or 6 hours of intensive classroom on a Friday night, and about 8 or 9 hours on Saturday, where we will go through these properties. And by the time you're done, you'll feel comfortable in what it takes to redo a kitchen, a bathroom, how to understand the difference between furnaces, understand the difference between electrical panels, plumbing. And there's a lot of ways to look at a house and go, hey, I'm going to buy this house, isn't this great? And you discover this plumbing has got this orange printing on it. Well, that's not the right plumbing for the house, and you can't rent it, because that plumbing will poison you. And people who don't know any better go to Lowe's and buy the wrong stuff, or they put the wrong panel in. We call it Billy Bob and his brother-in-law. That's because one Saturday they decided they were going to put in new plumbing, and they go to Lowe's and they get a 24-pack of beer and they put in the plumbing. And I have pictures of people who've done that. It's amazing. There's like 19 different joints to get up the wall. So at any rate, now the other thing I wanted to talk about as I stand in front of the thing here, the other thing I want to talk about is there has been, a lot of things change in this business. But one of the things that we need to understand as real estate investors is who is our market. We want to sell a property. Who are we going to sell the property to? As you all know, it's been very difficult to find a property, and even more difficult to find somebody who could afford the property. So one of the things that I found here, and it's a little hard to see. Tim, is there any way to blow this up? Okay, that's it? Okay. So I'll take you through it. So on this chart over here, this is, over the next decade, the millennial and baby boomer generations will swell the population of two key age groups. This age group right here, which is about 30, let me see if I can read this, about 30 to 43. You can see this little peak right here. If you're a retail rehabber and you want to sell a property, that's the age group you're aiming for now. If you are a landlord, where do you think you're going to be aiming for here? You're going to aim for a little bit newer, or there are folks who literally have decided in this group right here, 35 or 30 to 43 group, that they're never going to buy a house. They're going to be tenants forever. As a landlord, does that make you feel happy? Yeah, okay. Because those folks have jobs, they have good credit, and they tend to pay. And if you're a landlord, you understand what that means. Okay, the next section over here is for people who have moved out of their fancy home and now they don't want to own anything. So they want to rent, or they want to do, something that would be of the scale, but a downsize. Now you've all seen Redwood. You know who Redwood Properties is? You've seen they build about, 4,000 units. They're basically single-family homes. They're duplexes. They're built all over the place, called Redwood Communities. There's one probably down the street from you because they've just built them everywhere. They are rentals. There's duplexes, 3-bedroom rentals for $1,800 a month. Okay, now for the folks that cannot afford $1,800 a month, they come to us. So if you have rentals in nicer areas or rentals that you fixed up, you may want to consider that sort of property for this age group. Because they're not necessarily going to move to Florida. A lot of them will come. I've had funds that have moved to Florida and come back here because family's here, and they're looking for a place to stay that they don't have to do anything. So if you're a multifamily owner, that's a good place. If you're a duplex owner, what are you going to offer to somebody in that age group that comes to your property and wants to rent? Why, how about if you offer them the grass gets cut? How about if you offer them that we do the outside maintenance? Yes, you charge for that. They will pay that because they don't want to cut grass. They cut it for 20 or 30 or 40 years. They don't want to do it again. Over here is income growth among younger adults has been particularly strong. And as you can see, the line here, the 35 to 44 is the blue one, and you can see the kind of the peak up there. Now, that is somewhat misleading because that same group is heavily in college debt right now. So you have to kind of temper that graph. Yes, they have money, but are they going to be able to afford to buy, or are they going to still have to rent? Well, the money right now is they're going to rent. That's why you still see apartment complexes going up. You've driven down 675 recently and seen all the apartment complexes going up. It's amazing. Somebody's done the market on there. Tim, can you move the next slide? I'm sorry, I didn't see. One of the things that you have to make a determination of is where you want to be in this business. If you want to swing hammers, there's plenty of business for you. If you never want to swing hammers, you want to talk on the phone and you're good at that, there's plenty of business for you. So that's another reason why to come to the Real Estate Investors 101 on February the 8th. By the way, there will be breakfast served there.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, next one here U.S. is significantly underinvested in housing compared to past decades. In other words, builders have not built enough homes. Well, I'm on the builder side a lot of times, spend some time in that area, and I'll tell you why. Land is hard to find to build property on. Also, various zoning regulations seem to be aimed at preventing new properties being put in. I've sat in zoning commission meetings with various builders and been told, well, what are we going to do with a runoff from your 200 home lots there? Or even worse, well, you got 40 lots, when are you going to get them done? Well, you can't plan on that. Or they come up and say, well, good, you can have the land, but you have to put streets in yourself. So builders are not willing to do that, so they have to cut a deal with the city, and that's why taxes go up. So what has happened here is that we don't have enough homes for people to go into. The reason why we have a housing shortage right now is there's not enough new homes going up. Why? Builders say it's because there's not enough lots to build on, and remember the first chart about the 30 to 43-year-olds, and they don't have as much money as they used to have. So what does this mean for us as landlords? There's a significant market across those age groups out there that will be for you to rent to. So how do you target those folks? Well, I'm not a marketing guy. There's other people here, but I suggest social media. I suggest, getting to the age groups you're interested in targeting. I mean, the nice thing about rentals is that, occasionally you put up the sign and somebody shows up, but is it the somebody you want? That's the difference. Why don't you start thinking about, I want to start planning for who and what age group I want to rent to. And the last one is housing costs account for a growing share of total spending. Well, gee, what a surprise. Housing costs have gone to the roof. I mean, houses that used to sell for $60,000 on Xenia Avenue now go for $90,000. Why is that? There's a housing shortage. So, you look at this, but you look at, this is 92, and this is, last time this was cut was 2018. That's an amazing jump in a roughly, 36-year period. That's unbelievable that you have something that, I mean, this has been level for generations, and all of a sudden we have this big spike. Again, the factors we just talked about, lack of new homes. I'm sure you've seen some of the things going on in California and on the East Coast where they're talking about doing these tiny homes. Now they're talking about tiny home cells. These are where they put a lot of tiny homes together, and you buy them. You buy them, you own them, but they're almost like a honeycomb. They're stacked around each other, and you walk up the steps to your little 200 square foot, insert that goes into the wall because they have not a lot of land. So, as a landlord, as somebody who's doing property, you want to be able to understand the market pressures that you're seeing and why you're seeing them, and why you can't find any properties right now if you happen to be a retail rehabber. Ask me how I know that. Okay, so having seen all of this, and this is just a cut at what goes on, please come to the February 8th education, and then if you have never been, or even if you haven't been in a while, sign up for the May 9th and May 10th property evaluation and bus tour. We'll go over new numbers, we'll go over contracting, we'll go over the difficulties involved in making assessments, and for those folks that are new, yeah, you'll get to smell things. Always lots of fun. Are there any questions? Not from you, Janice. She just heckled. Okay, thank you very much.
Greater Dayton REIA is a great source of information for real estate investors. You can learn what you need to do to succeed. You can learn the different opportunities that there are in the marketplace, and you can meet a lot of people that know about this from their own experience.
It's a fantastic organization because you can network with more seasoned investors. You meet all kinds of different vendors each time. Insurance companies, title companies, there's always a different group of people here. And even though I've been involved in real estate since '99, every time I come to a meeting I learn something different. You could also find contractors here. It's just a really great way to network.
The benefits that I've gotten from Virginia over the years is being able to tap into a pool of knowledge from experienced investors, experienced speakers that allow me to overcome any obstacles I might have from what I'm not familiar with.
In GE we learned that this is a team sport, and being a landlord requires quite a few people to help. In GE we found our accountant, attorney, property manager, realtor who furnishes the leads for the properties, and I believe the appraisers.
In 2010 to invest. The whole team was there. I had a property manager, realtors who had deals, and now I have 4 houses that are all turnkey solutions. I've invested in private LLCs. I didn't bought a note. So by joining an organization like GD RIA, you too can learn how to be a good investor.
And we are an approved vendor with GD RIA. We've been with you guys about 4 or 5 years now, and we love networking with the members, and we're here to help. So anything that they need help with, you can find us here every meeting and ask us whatever questions you need to.